Miss Jenkins, a stern and solitary English teacher, stood at the front of the dimly lit classroom. The sound of rain drummed against the windows, amplifying the eerie atmosphere. It was late in the evening, long after school hours had ended, and the halls were deserted. As she organized her papers, she glanced at the empty desks, each one representing a student she had taught over the years. But tonight, she felt a peculiar presence, as though someone was watching her from the shadows. Suddenly, a soft whisper echoed through the room. "Miss Jenkins?" She froze, her heart pounding in her chest. "Who's there?" she called out, her voice trembling. The whisper came again, closer this time. "Miss Jenkins, it's me, Sarah." She recognized the voice of Sarah Davis, a student from many years ago. She had been a bright and diligent girl who had disappeared mysteriously one day, leaving behind a void that had haunted Jenkins ever since. Feeling a mix of confusion and fear, Jenkins slowly turned around, and there, standing at the back of the classroom, was Sarah. But Sarah wasn't the same as she remembered her. Her eyes were hollow, her skin pale, and her clothes tattered. "I've been waiting for you, Miss Jenkins," Sarah whispered, her voice filled with a haunting resonance. Jenkins couldn't believe what was happening. "Sarah, how was this possible? Where have you been all these years?" Sarah's eyes gleamed with unsettling intensity. "I've been trapped in this school, in this very classroom. No one can hear my cries or see my desperation. But now, Miss Jenkins, it's your turn to experience what I went through." Jenkins stumbled backward, her mind racing. She had always been a strict teacher, but she had never meant any harm to her students. What could she have done to deserve this torment? Sarah advanced, her movements janky and unnatural. "You failed me, Miss Jenkins. You failed to see the signs of my pain, my struggles, and now it's time for you to suffer." Fear gripped Jenkins, paralyzing her. The room seemed to close on her as Sarah's voice grew louder and more menacing. The lights flickered, casting eerie shadows across the walls. Suddenly, as the apparition reached out and touched her, a memory surged through her mind. The day Sarah disappeared. She had found a note on her desk, a desperate plea for help that she had dismissed as a cry for attention. In that moment, Miss Jenkins realized her mistake, her failure to protect and support her student. Her memory switched to one that wasn't hers. She saw Sarah down in the basement, sobbing, the abuse from her father being too much for her to bear. Then Jenkins watched as Sarah heard a sound from the dark corner and walked over to investigate. Jenkins yelped as a horrific figure appeared. The creature's teeth were the last thing Jenkins saw before she was jerked back to reality. Regret and remorse flooded her soul, and she found her voice. "Sarah, I'm so sorry." Sarah's ghostly figure stood before her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and anger. "It's too late for apologies, Miss Jenkins. The pain I endured cannot be undone. Everyone who ignored my pleas must face the consequences." All of a sudden, Sarah's ghost disappeared, and the monstrous creature from the previous vision appeared. Her screams filled the halls of the now empty school.